Examine?
They say you've been here before.
Obviously. Now, it's very important that you hear what I'm about to say. I've shown you the way in, but this humble vent marks a point of no return. Before you descend into the depths here,
Hmm?
you should be fully committed, equipped, and focused. No distractions. If you have errands to run, do them first or hold your peace. I won't tolerate whining. Is that clear?
You'll tolerate what I give you, Silence. I didn't ask you along for the ride.
Alright, and just to make absolutely certain, turn all these on. Alright. You're down project facility. Okay. There's a merchant there I haven't met yet, but that's fine. I haven't been to that settlement, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. A couple of campfires I haven't been to, but I don't see any extra settlements. I don't see any quest markers. I kind of wonder why these weren't showing up, but that makes sense. I don't see any exclamation points. I don't see anything that looks like a settlement I haven't visited yet. I don't see any indication that there is quest content that I am overlooking. There's a DLC up here. Let me saving that for last. And this all looks finished. So here we go. Story time.
I've spent a lifetime trying to uncover the secrets of this world. Where the machines came from. How the old ones achieved such marvels only to fall into silence and death. A lifetime of failure, as year by year, decade after decade, I hit walls I could not break, doors I could never breach.
Hello.
Until a Nora huntress marched out of the savage east. And voila, for her, all the deepest secrets of the earth were laid bare. I suspect you will have an easier time with this door than I did years ago.
It's only the third.
Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized. Malfunction. Malfunction. Malfunction.
Are you kidding me?
You don't hear me laughing.
Shut up. There's gotta be another way. Hey! Elizabeth Sobeck here! Requesting access!
Access request acknowledged. Root command functions available. Do you wish to proceed?
I do! Get me through this door!
Analyzing. Primary access inoperable due to mechanical failure. Emergency venting procedure likely to circumvent blockage. Do you wish to proceed?
Yes.
Emergency venting authorized.
I underestimated you. So by now,
Guess you can't have everything.
that will draw attention. We won't have this place to ourselves for long now.
We? Last I checked, I was the one risking my life down here.
Yes, fine. Now will you please get moving? There's so much to learn in less time than I'd hoped.
That was less drastic than what I thought would happen. I talked about venting procedures. I was thinking about the settlement up top. Immediately. I was thinking that it was gonna like just blow up the upper settlement, but that was less drastic than I thought it would be. Deeper. Right now.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn. We found it.
Are you really so surprised?
Facility diagnostics detect multiple failures. Attempting repair.
So, what was this room?
An entrance hall, perhaps. Have a look around.
I see a bunch of data points. Hopefully they're audio, not Oh, stacked mail. All right. One. From lounge staff to admin subject, another incident. This morning's unfortunate incident with Dr. Popovic is another example of reception's need for additional support. We appreciate that Zero Dawn is an immensely complicated project, but as staff who serve on the front line, we're tired of being neglected. As we frequently requested, we need human translators, fluent in Polish, for example, security staff who can subdue enraged embryologists, for example, and dermal sedatives to calm persons who are screaming in Polish while hurling chairs and vases at reception staff, for example. Yes, most of the candidates are relatively calm and well behaved, but we need help handling the exceptions to that rules. Please respond. Okay, so people were not entirely happy to be here at Zero Dawn. Embryologist? That's interesting. We need support too from reception staff. Reception staff continues to require additional support managing ZD candidates when they arrive at the facility. Many are frightened or confused, some are highly agitated. These are not the sort of persons who are accustomed to having information withheld from them. At minimum, we need human translators. The link bots are not sufficient, and mouse sedatives for the extreme cases. Any and all support would be welcome. Perhaps you can start by responding to one of these mails? Oh yeah, so they were having a very difficult time. Okay, they're giving me medical stuff, so there will be combat here.
Please take a seat and wait for your name to be called. A selection of beverages and snacks are available.
A smaller room.
I really like the sort of archaeology, anthropology aspect of this, where she's commenting on the things she's encountering. Soundproofing? Nope, just text. Lounge bench admin soundproofing. Would it be possible to improve the soundproofing between VR1 and the lounge area? Most of the candidates stay quiet during the presentation, but the ones who scream or sob can be apparently heard by candidates waiting their turn in the lounge. Thought. Okay, so screaming and sobbing. Things are not looking well as we learn more about Project Zero Dawn. This looks like an interview area. Restock or else from lounge staff. Goodness gracious, these people had a lot of complaints. For the 5th time, please restock the lounge's selection of herbal teas. If I had to listen to one more egghead throw a tantrum because we're out of the organic cucumber mint or blackberry sage Veritos, I'm going to lose it. Please respond, and this time, no tempest in a teapot or steep demand jokes, okay? Here, Black crate. Black crates in the ruins didn't have a lot of goodies. They got a lot of shards. Hard mode makes things.
Proceed into viewing room 1 for an important message regarding the purpose of your visit.
This is the place where they started screaming or sobbing. So let's find out why they were screaming and sobbing.
What was this place?
A holographic theater.
CD01 data intact. Initiating playback.
Here we go.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn. I am General Harris, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that Zero Dawn is a top-secret super weapons program, the technological miracle that will save us from the Pharaoh Plague, if Operation Enduring Victory can hold off the robots long enough. The reason I'm sure you've heard the rumors is that I'm the one who spread them, and they are all lies. Zero Dawn is not a super weapons program, and it will not save us. Nothing will save us. Here's why.
Okay, I was afraid of this.
By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh Plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed. Our planet reduced to a barren sphere. Global extinction is inevitable. No matter how many we kill, the robots just keep exponentially making more. If we had their deactivation codes, we could shut them all down. The entire swarm. But since their cryptographic protocols use polyphasic entangled waveforms, cracking a code set would take half a century. At best, we've got 16 months. Not exactly what you'd call a survival option. The destruction of a biosphere is not the sort of apocalypse you can wait out in a fallout shelter or a space station. There will be no Earth left to reclaim. Just a lifeless, toxic rock with several million Pharaoh robots on it, hibernating, waiting for something to eat. This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory. My lies. Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents to sacrifice themselves in battle. Why? One reason. To buy time for you and the work you will do here. 0 Day. The day that life on Earth ceases to exist is coming fast. It cannot be stopped. The hope of Zero Dawn is that something new might come after. But I will leave it to Elizabeth Sobek to shine that thin ray of light into the darkness. Harris, out.
There's the truth of it. It was a Grey Goose scenario. They couldn't stop it.
That doesn't make sense. Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
He said it could not be stopped.
But it was. Somehow Elizabeth saved us. I've got to keep looking. Find out how she did it.
Zero Dawn. First day after 0 Day.
Kestrels. They got in. Through the vents.
Let nothing stop you from learning the truth.
Spread out! If it moves, kill it!
What is this place? Tomb?
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said. Not really. I was on the Syzygy East.
Okay. Silent Hunter outfit. Dude. Damn it. Okay. Sorry, bear with me. I kind of want to listen to that. Go. Play this.
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said. Not really. I was on the Syzygy East response team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring Victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
Okay, she's talking about an earthquake causing a catastrophic failure of a nuclear reactor. Just to clear something up, catastrophic failure of a nuclear reactor will not do that. People often talk about Chernobyl as the worst nuclear event. And yes, if you allow a nuclear reactor to go into full meltdown by turning off all the safeguards, as a reminder, that's what happened. The Soviets intentionally turned off all the safeguards at the Chernobyl reactor. They wanted it to go to a full meltdown. Right now, you have a giant piece of radioactive metal called the elephant's foot there, and it's still radioactive. You get close to it without a full suit on, it will kill you very quickly. But if you look at the Chernobyl area, the wildlife there is very healthy. They don't go near the main reactor, but around it, plants are growing very well. Animals are growing very well. they adapted to the radiation. There's no reason to believe that if people wanted to clean that area up, they could move in, seal off the elephant foot, either relocate it or just I don't know, bury it under concrete and lead, fill it in, bury it underground or something, and you could repopulate that area with no issues. The only two other major nuclear events were 3 Mile Island and Fukushima. There's a reason why you never hear about 3 Mile Island is because all the safety systems worked. It proves that nuclear is safe. Uh, when it went critical, the safety systems kicked in, and nothing bad happened. I don't think anybody even suffered radiation sickness. And Fukushima, people talk about like 3,000 people died at Fukushima. Most of those deaths were from people panicking and rushing out of the nearby area. The elderly dying because they were forcibly transferred, or people just trampling each other in a panic. Most of the deaths in Fukushima were from from the engineers who went into the reactor to shut it down. Tragic deaths, yes, but otherwise, Fukushima was a very non extreme event. And it the only thing, we got more good from Fukushima than bad. As tragic as those deaths are, we've learned, the nuclear scientists and engineers have learned how to build those nuclear plants better. When I hope soon that Fukushima is rebuilt and restarted, it's going to be stronger against tsunamis, earthquakes, and the like. And the next time it gets hit, we won't have that issue most likely. So, the event that they're using for the story is impossible at this point. There is no red zone event that can happen at nuclear reactors. Most importantly, because that's not weapon grade nuclear material. Like, we use it a lot for media because we still have this horrific image in our minds about nuclear reactors exploding, but there's no way for it to explode because um, even if you do detonate charges in the reactor chamber itself, it's not material that would be set off by that. It would just break apart. You would get just a pile of radioactive metal. It's a very specific type of radioactive isotope that goes nuclear and makes that giant, a massive explosion. So, just wanted to mention that because they're using this as part of the story, and it's all fiction. All right, so we're doing is we're waiting for this guy to follow along the track. We can do that. Now he's coming too. There was a third guy. There he is. Dude, spot. Click on it. Might be able to charge in there and catch him. Okay, good. 2. Go on, bud. Go on. Trying to go back on the.
The girl doesn't falter here. Nice.
Good. We're too
And
close
done.
to let tribal crypt to stop us now. The data points. What did they contain?
All right. Huge.
Want to discuss?
Whew. So Mama, she was right.
Pardon?
My mother, she took her Bible real serious. Not just Texas Bible serious, Pentecostal serious. Favorite chapter? Revelations. Now, I didn't always understand her on account of all that speaking in tongues and such, but when she did use her words, there was always end times this and lake of fire that on account of sinful lifestyles. Speaking of which, mind if I smoke?
A tobacco cigarette.
Sorry, darling. My taste run classic. Compliments to your team tracked me down. Been a price on my head 18 months now. Sterling Malky was me, don't mind admitting. Been plenty of snakesters chasing the bounty too. But I kept the zigging to their zag. How'd you finger me?
I believe Dr. Sobek listed you as an alpha candidate. Priority snatch and grab.
Always suspected she had a little thing for me. Hey, I don't suppose you got real coffee in this place. You know, blood coffee? Conflict cappuccinos?
Mr. Tate, I'm clearing you to proceed. Just go.
Okay, so they brought in possible terrorists. Interesting. I wonder what she's doing that for. PhD, but
That is accurate, yes.
So these mechanical monstrosities,
oops.
they don't just kill people. They feed off them.
Not just people, all organic matter.
Every living thing dissolved into nutrients. Millennia of evolution liquefied. The miracle of life reduced to bloody biofuel.
In a word, yes.
Who did this? Pharaoh? That arsehole. Is he here?
No, Doctor.
Please, tell him Tom Pake wants a word. Now, get off! Get off!
That's the agitation they were talking about.
Please! You get Ted Pharaoh in here!
I figure out who the last person was. A data security consultant. Yeah, so he's a hacker and a possible terrorist. Where is he? This is a formerly of FAS.
Previously worked for Pharaoh Automated Systems.
On the chariot line self-replication routines. I came here thinking this was a rendition. When your people took me, I thought, about time. I've been trying to swallow the guilt every day since
Would you like to take a moment?
No, I really hoped Zero Dawn was a way to undo it all. My work. And I'm sorry to say I was ever proud of it, but Ted could really sell a concept, and in the labs, in the light of creation, that first test run, when you saw they understood their own structures, could rebuild themselves from memory and light, there were no limits. God, there were no limits.
Because the game developers started me to use those vents, but we took care of it. Correct route. Counselor guidelines. For 1. For debriefing after presentation 1, candidates must be allowed to ask questions and be given necessary time to fully absorb the information they have received. It is important to be aware that candidates have just been exposed to triggers for severe mental and emotional trauma. Do not assume silence or outward caution indicates acceptance. It is essential to stress that all other options for combating feral plague and preserving the continuation of human life have been considered and found unworkable. Indicate this fast, calmly, clearly, and firmly. Familiarize yourself on the data. Oh no, text message. Something's going on. Somewhere near my closet. Anyway, familiarize yourself with data on the catastrophic environmental impact of nuclear engagements versus a swarm, Amendment B1, and the unfeasibility of maintaining life in orbital, lunar, or undersea structures, Amendment C123, so that you can counter objectives in depth. Bear with me. With me. Uh, Candidate asks for time alone to review supplementary information. Allow this without hesitation. Be sure to inform security personnel so the communication can be monitored for attempts at self-harm. Oh boy. Candidates should only be cleared to proceed to Personage 2 if you believe their mental state is sufficiently stable. Note that real-time support would be available via your focus. Security and medical crisis teams are, yeah. So they fully expected people to did not take it well. Interview with Captain Okiolo, Information Warfare Specialist, NAC.
I'm sure you now understand the urgency of why we brought you here, Ms. Okilo.
Captain Okilo, are you trying to thank me for not resisting?
I believe we couldn't negotiate a diplomatic solution.
When it came to my country's lithium, it was always a swarm that would be sent to negotiate. Metallurgic International, U.S. Robot Command. The markings changed, but the robots were the same.
You have had considerable experience in human-robot conflict.
Yes, and I've got the prosthetic limbs to show it. Yet I continue to face this horror, even though the challenge was great. Cyber warfare. I thought Zero Dawn would be a Manhattan project to generate the deactivation codes. With the resources I had, I estimated code breaking to be a hopeless endeavor. I was almost looking forward to being proved wrong.
Unfortunately, your estimation was correct.
As your General Hera said. So then, you did not bring me here to commiserate. What is left?
We're to find that out soon. Okay, one more. On Fedler, HD Aerospace Engineering.
Let's cut the mystery. You're building a colony ship. It's obvious. And it's not gonna fly. I mean, literally. Remember the Odyssey? That multinational heap of space junk that's been in graveyard orbit since 57? That went nowhere real slow. And you have to get somewhere real fast. Do you have any idea the immensity of the challenge to prep a new colony ship in time?
To be clear, I'm not a worker on the project.
Do you even understand how few people it could save? The whole generation ship concept is not gonna happen. It's the first thing you'd abandon in favor of embryonics. For that kind of storage, we're talking a lot of bulk, a lot of power, a lot of resources. So even if you do it, even if you build it and point it at Sirius X, there's no room for people on that thing, all right?
If you could try to remain calm.
You people are crazy if you think you're getting off this rock. No one's getting off.
Medical.
Oh, okay. Personally, I think the generation ship is 100% feasible. You just have to build it in space, not on a planet. You build the parts on the planet, and then you lift it up into space and then assemble it there. It would probably need some sort of function that will allow it to make stopovers at non-habitable planets to pool resources. But beyond that, it actually sounds like a very interesting game concept. Like a city builder, but you're an AI for a generation ship, and every time you step at a planet, you got to build up a automated colony in order to pull resources from it. That's an interesting concept. Anyway, this should be presentation number 2 up ahead.
CB02 data intact.
Yep, here we go.
Initiating playback.
Yeah, this one where Sobek explains what Zero Dawn is.
And it's all true. The Pharaoh Plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist. But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness. What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. An immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia. Mother
All
Nature
mother.
as an AI. But that's just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose.
Apollo?
Now, these aren't AIs, but make
Poseidon.
no mistake. Each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species has ever before attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the billions of seeds and embryos from which life will be reborn. The construction of underground facilities to hold it all.
Hephaestus.
And that's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good.
That's that big tower we saw.
How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries.
So that's where the machine came from.
From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas, to the regreening of the Earth from cryopreserved seed stocks, to rewilding the Earth with animal life. And then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo, the vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us, our world. And most important, how not to repeat our mistakes.
So that's where the
It's not an impossible
religion
dream.
came from.
It is
Apollo,
within
sun
grasp
god,
if we
the
work
sun worship.
tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life from ending. But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
There it is. That one happened.
The whole Earth destroyed, but then remade?
Yes. By a machine. A machine of creation.
Elizabeth did this. For life. For us. But why Hades then? If it was part of Gaia, how did it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh robot? And why does it want to kill me? And Apollo, the archive of knowledge, what happened to that?
I'm as confused as you are. Maybe the answers lie ahead.
Okay. And we're going to begin the secondary interview. Make your selection. You are now in a possession of information regarding the true nature and purpose of Project Zero Dawn, classified far above top secret. As such, we regret to inform you cannot be allowed to leave this facility. There are 3 options available for you at this point. Please each carefully. Trained counselors are standing by to assist you in making your choice. 1. Participation. You will be assigned to a sub-project team based on your area of expertise. You should be aware that the way forward will be difficult and a project's outcome is uncertain. We'll be expected to work a minimum 80 hours per week, and your communication with family members will be strictly limited, monitored in real time. On successful completion of the project, you and your immediate family, 2 persons of your choosing, will be transferred to the Elysium sealed habitat to live out the remainder of your natural lives. I believe that's the first ruin we went into. Eventually, Elysium was broken into, and they all took basically suicide pills. Indefinite detention. Should you choose to decline participation in Project Zero Dawn, you will be confined indefinitely. You'll be given 48 hours to reconsider, after which your decision to refuse participation will be considered and, irrevocable. I don't know. Every reasonable effort will be made to make your term of confinement as comfortable as possible, but you will not be permitted to contact with the outside world, and death within 18 months due to the feral plague is inevitable. When the Zero Dawn facility is abandoned, detainees who do not wish to opt for medical euthanasia will be released. 3. Medical euthanasia. The information you have just received is understandably calls into question the purpose of continuing to live. If you prefer to end your life at this point, pain-free medical euthanasia is available. A 48-hour waiting period is required, during which time you may opt for participation or confinement. Please notify a counselor when you're ready to make your choice, or if you have further questions. Oof. Looks like I missed something back here, because that's empty spot in my logs now. Oh well. Going forward, I might make a point to go back and try to collect everything. We're here. Counselor Guidelines 2. For debriefing after Presentation 2, it is vitally important that candidates choose to participate in Project Zero Dawn voluntarily and knowingly, without additional coercion and without value judgment on the part of the counselor. Confirm for candidates that they were selected due to their skill sets, and accomplishments. Emphasize that their dedicated participation in Zero Dawn will increase the project's chances of success. Frame participation in Zero Dawn as an opportunity to respond actively in the face of an overwhelming threat. Candidates may question the fairness of their selection. Validate such objections as normal, even admirable responses, and emphasize the value of candidates' expertise to the future, not just of humanity, but of terrestrial life as a whole. Likewise, candidates may balk at the morality of extending their lifespans and those of loved ones beyond 0 day. Validate their hesitation. Acknowledge that while the reward of Elysium is not fair, it will be earned. If possible, redirect your ethical misgivings toward greater commitment to the project. When candidates challenge the plausibility of Project Zero Dawn, permit them to review the subject presentation as many times as they wish. Allow access to simplification articles G01 through P20. Allow them to suspend the interview to fully process the documentation. A significant minority of candidates will elect for medical euthanasia. It is important to receive this decision kindly and without judgment. Advise them of a 48-hour waiting period, during which counselors will be available to discuss their decision. Emphasize that euthanasia will not occur without repeated consent when the procedure is scheduled to take place. No one will be euthanized against his or her will. Candidates who elect indefinite decision must be informed that they have 48 hours to reverse the decision, at which the decision Yeah. Quest markers there, but it's stuff over here. Brad, Adric.
Of course I'll do
Maybe
it.
two.
To be given the opportunity to rebuild what the damage that I don't feel worthy of it, but I will do it, absolutely.
I want to stress that this was never about your culpability.
It is to me. Dr. Sobek, Margot, they were smart to get out of Pharaoh when they did, but not one of us took it as a warning sign. It just told ourselves that we're cut out for the BTRI cabals. That's the better than rapid innovation. Better at competing, better than the next guy, a better killing machine. It's just amazing how a century and a half of science fiction did nothing to swerve our species from the path of doom. I mean, I'm done with that life. I mean, I will work hard, twice as hard, to earn this, for my family to have a place in Elysium. I never thought that there could be atonement.
Edible. Outward.
If you're still nauseous. No, the inhibitors have kicked in. I can't feel the back of my tongue. I wish I could tell you I'd believe in this, But the damage is too great, too extensive, too complete. With all respect to Dr. Sobek's work at Miriam, no. No. Life doesn't always find a way to keep going. Sometimes it never comes back. Like Syzygy East. Like the Congo. Like Timo. Like us.
They had to keep creating these fictional events.
A buried city full of terminal patients waiting out the clock?
You'd grow old together, with your loved ones, in safety.
I don't have loved ones. I suppose I could start a family?
I'm afraid not. All inhabitants of Elysium will be medically sterilized. A habitat capable of sustaining a starting base of 2,000 individuals for up to 100 years is a huge challenge, Dr. Alpert. If the population grows instead of diminishes, everyone will be dead inside 30 years.
I knew it. I just couldn't bring myself to say the words.
I'm sorry?
Finish it. Medical euthanasia. I want no part of this. I just want it over.
I see. Protocols require a 48-hour waiting period, after which...
That's quitter talk. You quitter. Alright.
See to make sure I behave this time?
Security. For your protection.
Alert.
Would you like to discuss how you feel?
Sure. I'll tell you. Surprised. No, flabbergasted. Like my own man would say, flabbergasted. That vein pumping in his forehead.
Having fun with this?
I thought you people were just
white people?
completely underprepared for a spaceflight project. But now I can see it's worse. Much worse. Sobek is a total fantasist, a dangerous fantasist. He's kind of blue skying.
Oh, goodness gracious, people.
Jesus. I'm sorry we wasted each other's time. I'm ready to leave now.
You're not allowed to leave.
That's not possible.
Everything you're talking about here isn't possible.
I recommend you read the documents regarding your options.
I've seen enough. I'm getting out of here.
And now for security kid.
You don't... Get your hands off me!
Ah, man, a lot of quitter talk here. Me personally, I would have been all for it. They had to keep on making up these, Beneth shackles. Ah. Handcuffs. Some of these people... So that guy's, that a log we just listened to, he's apparently bound to this, that bed. We're given 48 hours before indefinite, Yep, this is the prison. Basically just locked in this room because can't let them out. Right. So we heard one person was ecstatic to join. One person just wanted to just die and quit because of Twitter. Medical stuff says it's right up ahead.
Intruder! Get her!
About to get
Whatever you
loud.
do, don't die now.
Damn it. Alright, fine, you gonna be like that? Now let's see. Big bada boom. this. No, first things first, we're going to do some more lore digging here. What do we have here? Service tapes.
Now, those lame FBI black hats at Mockingbird back in the day, I enjoyed schooling them. But maybe I went in too hard on this.
Oh, whoa, what happened there?
Now, those lame FBI black hats at Mockingbird back in the day, I enjoyed schooling them.
I think a black cat's reference to
poor counselor. She was cute and just going down a checklist after all. Couldn't expect her to see how ridiculous Zero D's ambitions are. God's own budget thrown at a kid playing with a hologram sculptor. Palms up, honey. I'm just calling it like it is. Hey, look, Mom, I'm making nature. Now, if nature is so important, why not let nature take its course?
Headpads being passed around.
Extinction? That's natural.
Everybody enjoy your headpads.
No, ma'am, that ain't. Heck, it's so unnatural to be called an abomination back home, and you know it. That's why you're hiding it. Meanwhile, my little honey of a counselor, she's munching the inside of her cheek. Bad habit. She chewed one of her nails, too, just one. Not your day, was it, little sweet pea? Saw her quota slipping away. Said, I assume you intend to decline the assignment, Mr. Tate. You kidding me? 18 months hard labor in exchange for 30 years lounging around Elysium watching porn? Sign me up.
Alright, that's one way to get a person to agree. Versa Sauvé.
Zero Dawn. It is art, in a way. An expression on the grandest scale. But there is so much unfairness. Why was I chosen? Was it decided by committee? By algorithm? My family will be saved because I happen to graduate in art history? Is this right?
Dr. Sauvé? Christina Sauvé?
Yes. I met a man, another historian. His fields are Bauhaus and the New Materialists. But he once attended one of my talks. Another unfair chance. Of all the many people in that auditorium, that we should both be here now. And yet, I feel more accepting of my fate. No, it is not fair, not at all. But for the sake of my family, for the sake of art. Art is alive. It must be able to speak from beyond history and echo in the future, not perish into oblivion. This opportunity, I must do this.
I like her attitude. On pitch.
I hashed it out with them. What the point?
Oops, nope.
I hashed it out with them. What the point of Artemis was. I made it clear I wasn't on board for a global zoo. We haven't exactly proved ourselves to be great custodians in the past few thousand years. So the idea of a reconstituted biosphere, well, it's horrifying, isn't it? A complete horror show. We have no right to take a best guess at this stuff. But the alternative? Nothingness. For there to have been all this and then nothing. And with Charles Ronson running the show, I respect him. He's got a passion to him. He's hot-blooded. So I said I'll do it. I'll put my all into this, literally. When the project is done, I'll take the medical option, thank you. Counselor said I might change my mind. I told him that he didn't know me very well then. For life's sake, I'll do the dirty work. But I want no part of this pathetic, attenuated future on offer. I'm an outdoors man. Never did like the feel of solid-state lighting on my skin. And a wee bit of a claustrophobe anyway.
Well, don't know why he's not mentioning it, but there was the option to just, you know, just leave and go out. The biosphere might be just destroyed, but you can travel around.
Here we go.
Okay.
Another one of these. Need to find the right configuration.
Left, up, left, down, right. Up.
Done. I should check the door nearby.
Hey, I'm done with Brett's incompetence, okay? Somehow, he managed to install an H-emitter node backwards. Everything's in reverse. I don't get paid to clean up Brett's messes. If you want it fixed, send him up to storage for a new emitter, not me. Parker out.
Huh.
There's a part missing.
Everything's
Maybe there's a
backward.
storage area nearby.
Yeah, that's going. That one over there. Bad. The storage area because they need a new emitter, and that one's. And from what she said, all the options on that is backward. Mirror reflected, polar opposite. Yep.
Found one. Looks intact.
Across there. Ocean. All
That should do the trick.
right. So she mentioned it was all
Door open.
reflected. So just assume that's all backward. Up. Left. Okay, no. Okay. Let's go with mirror reflection. Up and down would still be correct. Oh, no, wait, no, now I see it. Okay, the name's upside down. Okay. So, it would be down, left, up, right, and down.
That did it.
Yeah.
Door should have power.
Now to see what lies beyond it.
Oh. Oh, they made the options. Oh, hello.
Eclipse. They're here.
Avoid contact.
Lines look good.
Gaia. It's up there. Second floor.
Can you reach it?
So much for avoiding contact.
Alright. That's 2. And 3. Oh. Much more just dropped in. Yeah, I wouldn't be better stealth characters on top, but I can at least headshot him. Level 52 reached. Get back here. Got him.
That's the last of them.
HVAC structural failure. Repeat.
Or not.
Oh shoot, hello.
Don't lose her.
I didn't get the stealth kill. Right now. Ah, dang it, didn't get a stealth kill again. Dang it.
The shadow.
Aloy move.
For the shadow.
There's the music. There we go.
Found him.
I got you gunned.
Room's clear. For a moment, anyway.
Get moving. You have to find Gaia.
Push it, man. First things first. Bunker door. First need there. A projector.
Hello, I'm Margot Shen, and this is Hephaestus. As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots.
Based on a Greek
Her
god
personal
of forging.
forge, except it's not that simple. So you probably noticed that only about a third of you are robotics engineers. The rest, experts in machine cognition, virtual heuristics, that stuff. Well, that's because we aren't going to be the ones designing and building robots. The last thing we want is to burden Gaia with a bunch of outmoded 21st century designs. Waste of time. Our purpose is to empower Gaia to build the robots, and not just build, imagine, from scratch. Any robot she needs for any conceivable purpose, designed and fabricated at a snap of a finger. Hers. Her finger. So, Hephaestus isn't really the forge. It's more like the knowledge of craft and ingenuity of a mastersmith to wield the hammer. Encoded as software. Virtual creativity made real.
That's
Gaia's already
what the
learning.
cauldrons are.
In simulation, she's doing some very creative things with fractal assembly and animal morphologies. Her designs aren't about to win the Liam Prize anytime soon, but hey, everyone has to start somewhere.
And that's
So,
why the machines
yes,
look like animals.
time to get started. Let's do this.
I don't get it.
Which part? It's a little technical at places.
If Gaia was designed to save life, why would the robots it makes attack people?
Perhaps it loves some forms of life more than others.
The derangement. The machines weren't always so angry.
True. Mostly they were docile until 10, 15 years ago.
For years, Hephaestus has been forcing cauldrons to make aggressive machines. I've seen it myself, in the cauldrons. Stalkers, Ravagers, the Thunderjaw. How could it do that? And why?
Why indeed?
Yeah, definitely. Stalkers, Ravagers, Thunderjaws, those aren't terraforming machines. Those are actually killing machines. Bolts. From Margot Shin to Elizabeth Sorbeck. Wow, you weren't kidding about Gaia's predilection for animal morphologies. Sure, not totally unexpected given the rough natural terrain her boss will have to navigate, but I agree that there's something deeper going on here. Her designs aren't just functional, they feel almost like, well, tributes is the word that comes to mind, as though she's already mourning their loss. Not just for the disappearing fauna of our time, but creatures from fossil record too, references to megafauna in some of her designs. So cool. Well, whatever Gaia thinks of, Hephaestus will empower her to build it. I just wish we could still be around in a century or two to see what she makes. Margot. Margot, I believe, was the woman who was speaking for. Doors as a hollow projector. This is a small scale representation of what the cauldron. Ooh, oh, sorry. There's one. Full steam ahead. For Margot again. If I doubted your brilliance in the slightest, I wouldn't have picked you. Oh, no. It's from Elizabeth. Margot, if I doubted your brilliance in the slightest, I wouldn't have picked you as the Hephaestus Alpha. You need to stop worrying about your age and communication style. You are who you are. Have confidence in yourself. Know what you're doing. Case in point, the latest draft of your plan for the construction and stocking of bootstrap silos to store raw materials is excellent. This, combined with your design for the AM Foundry core and the Foundry site selection plan, add up to a comprehensive plan. Time to start construction. One detail: consult with Ammonite Oklo before you finalize silo inventories. Hephaestus' first task will be to fabricate the robots that will construct the waveform broadcast towers Minerva will use to transmit the deactivation codes. So any exotic materials needed for the towers should be accounted for in the inventory plan. Elizabeth.
I've seen these shapes before. In cauldrons.
But of course, the birthing places of Gaia's machines.
Yeah, just smaller scale. In this area. That was Hephaestus. I'm heading. We're up top now. Can't from here. Nope. I get into that office. Archer's work.
I think this is it. Elizabeth Sobek's office. But it's sealed off. There's got to be a way inside.
Keep looking.
More clips.
Careful now.
Oh yeah, they took over this room. A big boy with a big gun. Like he is gonna. Why?
This is a real fight.
Second NYPD officer dies days after Harlem shooting. Yeah. Yeah, that guy is. Got two officers execution style. They do not take that kindly. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if quote unquote accidental shooting of him after. Hopefully not. Want to be.
Welcome to Apollo, the collective memory of the human species and the wellspring of knowledge for future generations. I am Samina Ebaji. Until recently, I was director of the International Collective Memory Institute in New Tehran. As a heritage professional, I devoted my career to the preservation of human knowledge, creative endeavor, and
but where is
achievement. Apollo is, therefore, the ultimate embodiment of a lifelong passion, albeit under the very worst circumstances imaginable. The challenges before us are immense. Specifically, we will have to design and implement 4 major initiatives simultaneously. First, the construction of data repositories in cradle facilities around the world, ensuring redundancy.
That's the All Mother.
Second, the collection and processing of a projected 180 million discrete data entries. 42 zettabytes of data in Mandarin, English, Spanish, and Arabic.
Why Spanish?
Third, the transferal and encoding of all that data
No Latin?
onto DNA encapsulated in synthetic fossils. The only medium capacious and durable enough to safeguard it without degradation for the centuries to come. And last, but not least, the development
Our model
of the
broke. She's not moving anymore.
interface and gamified curricula, by which future humans will commune with Apollo, progressively unlocking heuristic learning modules.
Interesting idea.
Leveling up
Yeah.
their knowledge and skills they will need to take control of the terraforming system. That is the future towards which all of our efforts will be directed.
Okay, but what happened?
Not just the preservation of the past, but the seed for the flourishing of a new tree of knowledge. Welcome, and let us begin.
Alright, listen to that. So Apollo is somewhere out there. Right. From Samilia Abadjiji to Elizabeth Storbeck, encapsulated DNA. And whatever it is, encapsulated DNA. Over the past 10 years, I've performed an exhaustive review of data storage functions, magnetic, optical, quantum, even that eternity tech that FES was shielding a year or so ago. Every other solution has one or more fatal shortcomings. Too heavy to transport, too massive to install in a lot of space, too power intensive over the centuries, too prone to failure past 3 to 400 years, etc. Encapsulated DNA will easily hold the 40 plus zettabytes projecting for Apollo. There's still many details to finalize. Of course, to start with, we need to select the inert material in which we embed the molecules. Already testing 16 candidate materials, as well as design and fabricate the power systems build reliquaries that would keep the DNA at negative 18 centigrade for 1,000 plus years. So long as I assure you that it didn't factor into my decision, may I confess that I deem it entirely fitting, indeed propitious, that we would be using the very building blocks of life to preserve human knowledge from mechanized extinction. Is not just ironic but heroic. Life as the hero beating back the forces of oblivion. In any case, much ado. Until next time, peace be with you. Right, that's probably a reply email to her. Probably right there. Nope, it's from her again. For the past 2 months, the full benefit of her procurement of the copy of the Homer archive from Far Zenith that made itself unknown. As a result, all of Apollo's key deliverables are on schedule. Already surpassed the 4 million discrete data entries and continues to grow. Physical science modules are entirely complete, with soft science modules close behind. World history, cultural data, and media archives are also on schedule. Language preservation. Can you imagine something like this at this point? Just taking a break from reading this. I just realized my webcam's not on. If I've been streaming without my model playing, but anyway, well, I figured that out. They're talking about just basically reintroducing culture to society. Restarting. Yeah, I got restart a VC face because my face tracker broke. That's basically like going 100 years without any movies from Hollywood, and then your great grandchildren pop open a container that holds the entire archive of everything Hollywood has ever made. That would be almost maddening to imagine that there's now endless selections of videos and media to access. And my goodness, that moment whenever they first build that projector, it probably wouldn't be very good when they first build it, but when they select that first movie, what would that first movie be? What would they choose? Would just go alphabetical? Uh, if we assume they're all speaking English, if that part of Apollo at least made it where they're all speaking uh at least approximate English, what would the first movie be? And imagine what that influence would be on people. Thinking about it, what movie would you show to a culture that hadn't had access to our media for decades, centuries? A hard time picking what the first. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Someone in chat, please help me out. What would the first movie be? What would be the movie that we would show people? Goodness gracious. I don't know where to begin. Do we start with something nonfiction? Start with like a groundwork? Oh, you know what? Something completely out of left field. How about instead of a Hollywood movie, it was like camcorder reels, YouTube videos, like instead of showing this was your this was the past. These are your ancestors. This is what they built in the past. Look, behold, and see what we made. Then of course, we would have to show the foreplay. We to show where the mistakes happened. Say, this is the good we made. These are the mistakes we made. Don't make the mistakes. Go chase after the good. Man, can you imagine the debates that they would have been having over what to pick first? I gotta imagine like fists flying. Hat back on. There we go. Now we got the face tracker going. I've been leaning and swaying this entire time. Let the microphone don't meld into my body. Okay. Testing with children, adolescents demonstrating high levels of engagement with and trust in the Aristotle and Aspheta personality. Personally, I find them highly engaging, especially when they debate. I wish half my friends would have been so entertaining. Good for sure. Only should ever go to preserve 450,000 languages. Also, Papua New Guinea doomed the goal from the outset. Preserving languages is a bit of a daunting task. Those are going to quickly become dead languages. Now we have to do this. We're going to start off. That.
I need this.
is the big guy.
All of this lost. The ancients' greatest gift to us.
Greatest? How about the fact we exist at all?
To abide in ignorance is a curse, Aloy. You of all people should know that.
Do not have the opportunity to learn is a worse curse. Silence. There's big guy. He's up. Like he's upstairs. I'm for. Whatever this. Grab him. Out of the area. Roll. Opportunity to pop him. And right. Oh, come off it.
Contact.
She went that way.
That was fun. Be back on his patrol path? Hiding for now.
Got a body over here.
Got two bodies over here. Alright. I need to get rid of the big guy. Okay. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm missing somebody. 3 of them left. I only see 2 now. There he is. That's good. That's good. Guy gets moving. Gotta drop down from above and get. This guy.
I'll take your head. The buried shadow demands it.
Ah, I'm not gonna wait. That just leaves big guy.
That's the
Gotcha.
last of them. Alone once more.
In what should have been a cave of wonders.
Alright. Passed up a bunch of lower entries, so let's run back and grab those. Can you imagine all the memes that'll come back? Going back to what I was basically in shock about. As soon as people rediscover all those videos and whatnot, memes would just pop back into existence. It'd be hilarious. Here is testimonial.
Dr.
Dr. Sobek, please archive this testimonial in Apollo. Cross-reference to all mentions of my name and Operation Enduring Victory. My name is General Aaron Harris. From 2060 to 2066, I served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranked officer of the United States Armed Forces. The tenure of my command included strategic planning and oversight of Operation Enduring Victory, a falsehood perpetrated on the civilian populations of the United States and other nations during the last 14 months of life on this planet. Before the Pharaoh Plague, I did my job and did it well. I was bold and decisive, crafty in political maneuvers. It wasn't an accident that I rose to my position and became the commander of the largest mechanized force ever assembled. But to what end? My only lasting achievement was the extinction of life on Earth. And my one redeeming act, if any, was to delay that extinction by days or weeks, by throwing more death at it. It is my hope that there will be no need for men like me in the world to come. If you are one of the people of that future world listening to this message, please know that I am sorry and that I wish you well. Sincerely, Aaron Harris.
A prideful man, but wasn't without heart.
Welcome to Hades, Zero Dawn's extinction failsafe protocol, the ultimate killer app.
Oh, there's
Now,
Travis Tate again.
I know what you're thinking. The purpose of Gaia is to resurrect life. So why give her a subordinate function, only purpose of which is to wipe out life all over again? I mean, what? Just plumb crazy, ain't it? Well, no, it isn't. Reconstituting a biosphere? That's a tall order. Tech smart as Gaia may be, odds are she won't get it right the first time. I mean, imagine you're Gaia, 200 years from now, and this new biosphere growing, it's all gone wrong. Alkalines are skyrocketing, coniferous forests eroding under the lash of superstorms that would have drowned Noah. It's chaos. Spinning top that won't stop wobbling. Now what are you gonna do? Release phase 1 organisms into that hot mess? Hope their CO2 and methane can balance out what you got started? Hell no. What you're gonna do, Gaia, is step aside while Hades takes over and does what you're just too darn nurturing and life-loving to do. Which is
Motto
burn
broke
that
again.
misbegotten mess of a biosphere to the ground so Gaia can start over. Okay, not burn, more like reverse terraforming operations and suffocate it. But you get the idea. Hades takes the biosphere back to zero. Square one, blank slate. And then, only then, does it hand the steering wheel back to Gaia and say, try again, old girl. And better this time, or we'll have to do this again. That's Hades. It's pretty badass when you think about it. Extinction on demand. Death on speed dial. All for the greater good, of course, but still, kind of metal. So welcome to Hades. Welcome to the void.
Okay, so if that's the original purpose of Hades, why does it want me extinct?
We need more data.
And how does it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh Titan, getting worshipped by the Eclipse like some kind of god?
I'm learning as you are, Aloy. Keep searching.
Please complete. From Travis to Elizabeth. Color me confused, Lizzie. Bashcore? Anyone says the old TT code to Bashcore is straight up lying, and you know it. Old Trav don't have no truck with commercialized razzle dads. Nuh-uh. Heck, I'd rather guzzle a liter Gloria and run off and listen to Grey Swarm for 30 seconds. And to God, swear on my mama's grave, and she was religious. No, that ain't blastcore blasting the hate labs, shaking the walls, rattling folks' teeth. That's death metal, girl. Classical music, 80s, 90s mostly. Got me some Dutch deathcore, some Japanese gore grind, some Swedish cannibal themed stuff too. Stop by if you want to listen. Oh, heck, just come within 50 meters of the lab. Ain't no bash cord you'll see or hear, rather, in the screech that rends the air and feel, in the throbbing pulse of the floor and the walls and the skin swallow you up like was Joseph trapped in the gullets of the cadaver jetfish. Hallelujah! Okay, I'm a bit worried that a bit of Travis got into Hades, and that's why he's a little kooky. Hades Protocol. Stay here, just popped these 3 blues, but I earned it. Finally figured out a Goldilocks solution to Gaia's rather extreme executive authority. If that ain't worth 10, 12 hours of date or dream time, what is? Before this, every obfuscation protocol I designed failed in simulation because it was either too hard or too soft. Too hard, and it degraded the Gaia core. Sure, it pried her figurative fingers off the figurative drain wheel so Hades could take control, but by breaking her fingers, sometimes her arms too, and that couldn't fly. Everything demands on Gaia take control back after Hades has done his business. So I had to find a solution that didn't leave Gaia any worse aware. Too soft, and Gaia only pretended to relinquish control. In simulation after simulation, Hades would take command of Terraform system reverse operations only to have Gaia lurk in the background, quietly re-releasing processes and falsifying telemetry to hide its interference. Sneaky. I swear it ain't nothing Gaia wouldn't do to keep life going, even when it's just simulated plant life. Turns out that just right solution was to isolate Gaia in a protective cold shell, preserving its integrity, then unseat it from command position so Hades can slip into the figurative captain's chair and work his magic. These blues are coming on strong now, so I'm not really describing it so clear, but pretty sure that'll work. Yeah, these blues are pretty strong. Guess it's time to sleep in bed. I'll be back to it tomorrow. Alligators. Okay, Tate is crazy, but I'm having a lot of fun doing his voice. I have one more party from Tate. Archive abuse. Oh. Okay, so Amalia was yelling at Tate and looped Elizabeth into it. Mr. Tate, this email concerns Apollo Archive submission number 000023876, your 666th submission in just 5 days. And oh, what a doozy. Despite earlier warnings re inappropriate materials, you choose to submit 265 holographic remasters of acknowledged classics of extreme exploitation cinema. Allow me then to thank you on 2 counts. 1. For giving me the pleasure of rejecting your submission, thereby consigning your favorite Eastern European torture flicks and their ilk to the dust heap of oblivion. It surely warms my heart to know that I have saved future humanity from the ordeal, experiencing not just one, but all 16 installments of Making a Millipede. Don't worry, the dusty material has already been preserved, extreme, but art. 2. For clarifying the concept that has been so long ambiguous and ethnically fraught for archivists such as myself. Definition of obscenity. You have freed me from the subjective quagmire embodied in Judge Potter's famous utterance, I know it when I see it. Thanks to you, I can apply a single objective citation. Travis Tate submitted it, it's obscene. Accordingly, I have directed Apollo staff to similarly reject all of your future submissions, sight unseen. Perhaps you might invest the time you have spent preparing further submissions on, I don't know, your assigned work. You have a world to save after all. Or the rest of us do, anyway. Dr. Samantha Empathy. Oh boy, yeah, okay, we're back to Nate being crazy. Hopefully save D&D. I'd be sad.
The only way onwards.
Or through the rock. Or from one part of the facility to the other.
Welcome to Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions. For it is by Eleuthia that the human race will continue to exist. I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the alpha in charge of this program. Now let one thing
be perfectly
clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering project. Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it. A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally frozen in time. The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified.
Under my watch, our activities and initiatives will comply with the 2034 clone provisions and the 2048 rally accords. Now that may seem a quaint, even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances, but
Yeah, it broke again.
as one of the authors of the accords, it is far from trivial to me. The practical challenges before us are staggering in scope and complexity, but not insurmountable. No. Global collation and provisional storage of zygotes, perfection of exogenic technologies, design and perfection of servitors to provide nurture and inculcation during early child development. All of these program components must and will proceed in tandem. To say nothing of the breakneck construction of cradle facilities at sites around the world. So, si vous êtes prêts, let us begin.
Alright, well that explains where the human race came from. I gotta imagine, with as much control as Elizabeth had, there must have been somebody trying to poke their finger in the eye, as it were. Didn't even mention that. Cradle sealed. From Patrick Brockhard Klein. The L1 was successfully sealed before the swarm advancing across Jiangxing province could detect it. Being back from Pluto systems is good. For our maiden voyage, a success. Regards my disputes with the betas over zygote selection, of course I understand we have limited overhead to run simulations of gene flow in our future humans, but we can all agree there is margin for refinement in the future greater populations. Dunk, in addition to personally overseeing the completion of Lithuania 2 site inside Mount Numbology, I will formalize and propose a modified zygote selection plan within the week. EPK. Okay, this matches up with a story with a data point about a military unit operating in China that had to pull back. So this all lines up. And I imagine someone with a lot more time on their hand would probably be able to go through all of these and sort of create a pseudo timeline of events. Here.
Are these what I think they are?
Artificial wombs. Machines to spawn a new generation of human beings.
Kratos servitor person on it. Development of I don't know. No, it's more Western European German development of the artificial. No, I'm still getting Arab Indian there. Give me a second. I'll play his voice.
Welcome to Eleuthia.
Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions. With Eleuthia, that the human race will continue to exist.
I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the alpha in charge of this program.
Okay, a bit more
now, let one thing
to the back of the throat. Okay.
Clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering
these chambers. The ectoclimic chambers have arrived 2 days ago. I've spent the last 36 hours examining them and poring over technical documentation. Their revelation, astonishing. I do not know of what you had to give Far Zenith in trade to get these chambers, but it was worth it. A single leap, their hold on, wait a minute. What was Far Zenith? That might be something to cover in Forbidden West. In a single leap, their embryologists have vaulted past 50 years of technological shortcomings. The risk of IMCO resolved, nutrition delivery resolved, hormonal stability resolved, 12 other risk areas resolved. Before I examined these chambers, I considered the Odyssey to be a fool's errand. But if the rest of FC's technology is at this level, well, a human colony around Sirius doesn't seem so impossible after all. Mass fabrication of these chambers represent a number of challenges. I'm confident they can be resolved. And we'll rest for a few hours and then get back to it. Write the fabrication plan within 48 hours, PPK.
Project. Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it. A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally
Horizon
frozen in
Model
time.
K.
The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified. Under my watch, our
And
activities
this
and
one
initiatives
was
will comply with the
development of the artificial personnel for the Cato survivors. Nurture, disciplinarian, healer. Continues at a good pace. We are targeting Turing 0.4 for these constructs. They should allow low-grade empathy and limited improvisation without undermining adherence to codified behavior sets. Stimulus-driven switching of personality, however, is proving to be a greater software challenge than anticipated, especially concerning our entrenched feedback loops between the disciplinarian and healer personality. I have also attached reports from an incident where a servitor running the mother personality intervened on a disciplinary servitor behavior. A parental disagreement, if you will. Amusing on first glance, perhaps, but deeply concerning. I have attached a conspiracy plan for correcting these interactive protocol shortcomings in just that's actually male-female parental
and the 2048 Rally Accords.
behaviors.
Even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances.
We got stopped. The mother working as a healer, the father working as the disciplinarian.
Cradle facilities. Elizabeth said a new generation of humans would be spawned inside such places.
She did.
Another mountain. It was one of them?
There's only one way to be sure.
By all
The
accounts,
hatch
yes.
wouldn't open. Something about a corrupted alpha registry. I need to search Elizabeth's office.
Just a little bit of platforming. Yep. So we've met 3 or 4 of the subroutines for Gaia. We heard mention of one of them. One of the other ones being that tall tower, which I don't think we can reach. I don't think. Or at least I haven't been really looked for. First, wide open area with not much to be a combat situation. First,
pure logic won't cut it, Ted. To pull this off, Gaia's going to need to have some skin in the game. It has to care.
What if it runs amok? Have we learned nothing from our mistakes?
Your mistakes, I think you mean?
All I'm saying is give it a kill switch.
She was just born, Ted. I'm not gonna put a gun to her head while she's still in the cradle.
You talk like it's a child. What if it becomes a monster?
Elizabeth, may I speak outside protocol?
Of course, Gaia, go on.
I'm sorry to contradict you, but Mr. Farrow's argument is sound. At this point, the development of my psyche is not entirely predictable. To ensure preservation of life, a hardwired override is, I believe, a necessary safeguard.
There. Satisfied, Ted?
Jeez, Liz, just do what it says.
It's a little bit different whenever the AI you're talking to says, yes, please put a gun to my head, because even I'm not entirely certain what I'm going to be.
Looks like it used to hold something. Some component that got removed.
It probably was Gaia.
Nuts would benefit from antilopinate morphologies, though caprid forms show superior load-bearing capability.
You're a quick study, Gaia.
Dr. Sobek, as I have conducted this comparative analysis of mammalian morphologies, I've gathered extensive data on the quaternary extinction event.
Oh? And your assessment? Gaia?
Logically speaking, the extinction was a natural consequence.
And yet,
I find the loss of megafaunal species unaccountably sad. That they passed forever into oblivion causes me to experience a grief that is difficult to describe. Am I malfunctioning?
No, Gaia, you're not. This is good. It's very good.
So that explains why she produced Thunderjaws and behemoths and other giant creatures, because she missed that those megafauna faded away.
You will undergo a brief period of unconsciousness during relocation to Prime and final instatement.
Elizabeth, may I speak outside protocol?
When you're back up and running at the new site, we'll bring the subordinate functions online and see where we stand.
Elizabeth, I detect distress. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
I realize that circumstances compel us to launch earlier than we hoped, but all subsystems are operational. The odds stand in our favor.
But what if... Gaia, there's nothing left out there. You can't even survive unless you're wearing an environmental suit. There are billions dead, in fear and agony. What if it was all for nothing?
Elizabeth, extinction was inevitable. Thanks to you, life will have a future.
You really believe that?
I believe in you, Elizabeth. In you, all things.
Kind of open. Just break it open. Telling me that it's somewhere in this area. Step over here. Oh, here we go. Beauty box.
Forget about traveling light.
Up. Give me all that, so Odyssey has failed. All alphas, Odyssey has failed. Terrible news, I'm afraid. Orzenas has informed me that the Odyssey mission has failed. Last night, telemetry indicated a catastrophic antimatter containment failure as drive spun up to depart the solar system. Ship, its crew, its cargo of Zygotes and seeds, its alpha build of Apollo, all were lost. Zero Dawn is now the only hope for continuation of the human species and earthly life. Must succeed. So Odyssey was the Gene Sith, the generation ship idea that Zenith was using. Check this one. Charles Ronston, Artemis status. It's coming along, Liz. I'm positive about it, if those words can still mean anything. Got my sleeve rolled up negotiating with frozen zoos for their samples. So many species trapped in ghoulish hologram dioramas, definitive what ifs. More than 14,000 years. 14,000 that went extinct between 2000 and 2043. Started mapping out primary successions, the pioneer organisms for a balanced and sustainable biosphere. Microorganisms and insects, rabbits and hawks, foxes and wolves. Thousands more that had to wait for their turn until our new generation can be entrusted with the duty of restoring them, so they can return to a world that, this time, understand the concept of conservation before it's too late. There's already been too many too late. Lost a whole collection team during a swarm breakthrough in Myanmar. The samples we lost were, well, irreplaceable. But thanks to you, Liz, the cycle of life will bend, not break. Earth will be a lifeless rock before, and someday it will be again. But not now. Not like this, not on our watch. Constant. So, Artemis was named after the Greek god of the hunt, was in charge of bringing back the animals. So, time for the big lore dump.
The Alpha Registry master file.
Intact?
Yeah. No signs of corruption.
Then what are you waiting for? Copy the file.
With this, I can restore the registry at the hatch inside Allmother. Open it. Go inside.
And grasp the secrets within.
Where I was born. Maybe who gave birth to me.
Who? Are you really so naive? There will be no who waiting for you there, Aloy. Whatever birthed you into the world was a what, not a who.
You bastard.
Oh no, I had a legitimate birth. It's you, Aloy, who are the creation of a machine. But what kind of machine and why? Why were you created?
Uh-oh.
Eclipse.
You need to get out of there. What you found is too valuable. You're too valuable.
That's a way to get into the room.
Still alive. Good. I have a more suitable death in mind for you, child.
Ouch.